Hey, folks, here I am. I'm back. Yeah. Reporting from the high place in Sharonville, right outside of Cincinnati, your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore, as the Houston Texans come back again, come from behind with another thrilling come from behind victory against a Super Bowl contending. And I underline that word very emphatically. This was a Super Bowl team of 2 years ago. In fact, if you just check this out. This was at when the Cincinnati Bengals against the Los Angeles Rams. That was just only a couple of years ago when they had competed against them. And so the Houston Texans come from behind, 38-yard field goal from the replacement kicker Amendola, and I tell you, this game had it all, folks. But before we get any further down the line, let me go ahead and let you hear from my sponsor, Mr. Ken Ross and the Ken Ross
Hello,
Agency.
I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Right, folks. Ken Ross agent. That's my agent of choice. And why not make him your agent of choice as well? 281-235-5952. Mr. Ken Ross. Call him. Tell him he has a very unique way of just give him a call. Like I say, call him. Leave him a message. Tell him AD told you to call, because I've called him on more than one occasion. And not only has been my agent for a long time, but he's been a good friend as well, and a good fraternity brother. Hey, way to go. Anyway, back to the Texans. And I almost claimed them as ours, but I'm being objective about it. It's kind of hard not to want to claim them, because this team, and this was sort of like Friday. We sort of had our one little personal bull session with Coach D'Amico Ryans, and I sort of asked him, how do you know? When do you know? Are you aware about how this team is able to start to learn how to win? And we can talk about learning how to win. Everybody can tell you what it might take to win, but until you do it and do it repeatedly, it becomes a part of your foundation, becomes part of your personality. And in this case, the Texans today came to Cincinnati. My first time being in Cincinnati, and very nice stadium. In fact, if you looked out there on my Twitter feed, I got some nice shots all around stadium. Almost made me remember the late Mr. Robert Powell, because he would always talk about those rivers, the Monongahela and the run around Three Rivers Stadium, because the Ohio River runs right past the stadium here. So and then it dumps down into the Mississippi. So it was interesting just to be in this part of the country. The foliage and everything was outstanding, something we don't see in our part of the country down there in the Gulf Coast. But it was, just to give you a quick purview, it was nice driving through out there and just seeing all the different color foliage that was happening. It was fall is in there, and it was chilly up here. Needless to say, that's why I'm sitting here with my hoodie on right now. But anyway, let's get down to the action. What happened today? Let me tell you something. This was almost like watching Madden, as these teams went back and forth, and really the Texans had an opportunity to blow it out, but didn't, and because of a couple of mistakes. C.J. Stroud got his second interception today. Probably should have had two or three more that the Bengals dropped. But the Texans, and let me tell you something, the Texans are a mass unit, but so are 31 other teams in the NFL with players coming in and out. As I stated, last week you had a backup running back that wound up that kicked a field goal that was pivotal in a victory last week. And now this week you had a kicker who had been there a while, and all of a sudden he's back because Kami Fairbairn is on injury reserve with a pulled groin, and he nailed a 38-yard winning field goal with no time left on the clock. No time, whatever left on the clock. That was all together between C.J. Stroud and Burrows. There was over 700 yards of passing. I'm not big on just going into a lot of statistical things, but when you can start looking at the type of numbers that were put up today, that's what I say they were Madden-esque in the way that they were going about it. Noah Brown, was targeted 8 times, 7 reception, had 172 yards today, no touchdown. But Dale, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. 14 targets, 6 times, long as 17 yards, and he had a touchdown. Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase, both of them had over 100 yards receptions. 8, targeted 12 and received 8 for Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 6 targets, had 24 yards and a touchdown. And Tyler Irwin, he chipped in with a touchdown as well. But the day and Coach D'Amico Ryans will allude to this in the comment that I had, because I asked him about this team, how this team was able to, under the circumstances, being able to come back and just will their way to win today, and being on the road, because it's one thing to be at home and being able to come from behind. And let me just remind you, last week the Texans got the ball with 46 seconds left, and they drove the field and scored the winning touchdown. This week they got the ball with 1 minute and 33 seconds left, and got it all the way down in order for Amendola to kick a 38-yard field goal. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and now let me go ahead. There was a shooting error on this particular one. You just got to listen to the coach, understand, and I tried to correct this, but this was too important for me not to include it. But I have to go ahead and include the coach on this particular one, in particular the question I had to him about how this team was able to overcome, under the circumstances, being on the road.
Out and everything else, and just gotten the turnover and everything. The way your guys just sort of settled down at the end and just went on and just put it to bed.
Right, no one wavered right on our sideline. That's what I love. I love the resolve of our team. Everyone believed that we were going to win. Everyone put in the work and made the plays to help us win this game. But it starts with the confidence that you have to win these tight games, and also knowing that we got guys, CJ, receivers, Noah stepping up, having a big game. Like, guys stepped up and made big plays. And none other than Motor, the way he ran the football today is our best rushing game this year. Credit to the O-line and Motor for the way he ran the football. It was impressive to see, and I love the way he finished all of his runs.
Yeah, I mean, Texans run, like I say, this was the Texans' best rushing. Darryl Singletary, 30 attempts, 150 yards. He's averaged 5 yards a carry. His longest run was 22 yards with a touchdown today. Hats off to this O-line. I gave credit to this O-line about 3 weeks ago, because there was really only one starter, and Shaq Mason, and in fact, it was interesting. Friday, I was just sort of talking with Shaq and just telling him, if you hang on for the rest of the season, you ought to get the Iron Man award, because you were just 1/5 of the expected starters. In fact, he's the only one who has started the season and still been in the same spot at that right guard spot. Everybody else has either been in and out of the lineup. And so, but today you could see the cohesionness of this offensive line. And in fact, I remarked to one of the guys on Singletary's run. I told one of the colleagues sitting next to him, I told him, hell, you could have ran through that hole. he said, yeah, and they could have timed me with a sundial by the time I got through. That's really how deep the hole was. But yeah, and the situation was outstanding today. And so you just have to sort of take your hats off. Has this team turned the corner? Has this Texans as an organization turned the corner? I'm not so sure about the organization. I can tell you about this team and what you're seeing week to week now, and sort of that maturation, that maturity standpoint. And let me just say this right now, as far as this young man out of Ohio State, I don't give a darn what his S2 scores was, and probably whoever leaked that out. And what the S2 scores was is quote unquote had to do with sort of predicting what, how mentally alert you are, or trying to predict, are you smart or not? Well, guess what? They leaked CJ Stroud's scores out there. And tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, CJ Stroud and the way he has produced, the way he has corrected himself from mistakes he made. As far as I'm concerned, CJ Stroud looks like a Mentor out there. And for you folks out there that don't understand, those Mentor rating is about 130 above, for his IQ scores. So as far as I'm concerned, the way this young man has produced and the way he has been able to come back and lead this team, in fact, especially from the last 2 weeks, has been able to come back. I put him up with a Mentor rating. They have been outstanding. And so, yeah, you're right, Tony M. I appreciate the comments. He said, as far as he's concerned, they turned enough of a corner for me, Tony M., who's watching. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think these guys are turning the corner. In fact, the next 3 weeks, the Texans are playing at home. And before you get too far ahead, they have the Arizona Cardinals coming in next week, and that's the only team that they need to be worried about. Let's play them one day at a time, and I'm glad that they'll get a chance for 3 weeks running, and so far as I'm concerned, let's play the Arizona Cardinals. Now let's get back to the defensive side of the ball. Last week, they had, a smorgasbord of sacks, quarterback hits, not nearly as many today. But Sheldon Rankins, again, had a yeoman's job from the tackle standpoint today. 5 tackles, 3 of them were quarterback sacks. Now, this is a defensive tackle, folks, that he had his way today with the Bengals offensive line. So, but let's let Sheldon tell you about it, and we'll go and how the day he had.
Pleasant, because you were on top of him quite a bit today.
Yeah, just execute my plan. I put together through the week. Watched a ton of tape. I played them past couple years when I was with the Jets, so just kind of familiar with the offense, kind of familiar with the guys they have up front. So just worked on my plan through the week, came out here, executed, and boy, what a day it was. It was a nice day.
The deviation, you sort of mentioned against the Saints, you already able to start calling plays depending on the formation on certain downs?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a guy who's just kind of saw the big picture, understand what's coming, understand what teams are trying to do, and just try to, get all my guys on the same page so we can play fast and understand how they're trying to attack us and go out and make as many plays as possible.
Yep. Make no mistake about it, folks. Sheldon Rankin, from a defensive tackle standpoint, had himself one heck of a game. Had himself a heck of a game today, and like I say, 3 quarterback sacks. Made you also want to forget about that famed defensive tackle out there with the Los Angeles Rams and the way he's been such a dominant force. But Sheldon again came in today, 3 sacks, and overall the Texans they kept Joe Burrow's a couple of times, yeah, Joe Burrows got out on the scramble drill, caught Jamar Chase on a 64-yard strike, but that happens when you have the caliber of quarterback that Joe Burrows is, and then when you play in this type of team, like I say, and like we mentioned earlier, they playing on the road, and this was a hostile crowd today. I'm gonna tell you, my first time here, and the thing about it, I got a chance to get out in the stands. I didn't stay in the press box. I went and watch the game a little bit from outside in the stand. Very passionate, very rabid fans, and it's when you have expectations and you see the expectation that shows up in your crowd, like you see coming out of the coming from the Cincinnati Bengals crowd today. This is what I can purport to see. This is what I expect to see. You saw it already with the Houston Astros. Is 4 times in a row under Dusty, and I'll say this again. In Dusty, we still trust. In Dusty, I still trust. And applauding you. Thank you for everything that you have done. But getting back to the football side of the house, when you can see had that type of raucous, rambunctious crowd, and I'm gonna tell you something. Black and orange is black, and Halloween was over with. But black and orange is the color of choice up here in Cincinnati at old Paul Brown Stadium, which is Payer Stadium now. Of course, I'm not getting any money for the name announcing the naming rights, but I'll give them they just do. But anyway, but before we get back and get to the rest of the program, let me go ahead and let you hear from my sponsor again, Mr. Ken Ross.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Yep, that's right, folks. 281-235-5952. Ken Ross Agency for all your insurance needs. Give him a call. Again, tell him Adolphus A.D. Moore he told me to tell you to give him a call. And if you don't get him, just leave him a message. Tell him I said, hey, you said AD said you would work something out for me. So go ahead and I say give Ken Ross a call, 281-235-5952. Let him be your insurance agent as well. He's been mine for all these many years, and we are very appreciative of him just underwriting and just sending along his wishes to want to just see the corner get out there and just talk about sports, and particularly talk about this the birth of what I think is many some good days ahead as far as the Houston Texans are concerned, particularly under this coach DeMeco Ryans and what's burgeoning here, what's building here. As again, the Houston Texans, with no time left on the clock, with Amendola 38-yard field goal, were able to defeat the Cincinnati Bengals today. And yeah, say this was an ebb and flow game, back and forth. I mentioned earlier, it's almost like somebody was sitting up there playing Madden with the way these guys were going back and forth. When particularly these were just seen the running game, and like I said, the Texans had their best running effort today. Singletary had 30 carries for 150 yards. You had 3 receivers over 100 yards in receptions themselves today. But the defense at the end, and this is what happened against Atlanta. This is what happened against Carolina. Learning how to close out a ball game. And so, Jonathan Grenard had the other sack. They had a total of 4 sacks today, and really, and as I mentioned to him, they probably missed about 3 or 4 that they should have had. But let's let Jonathan Gennard tell you about the day he had along with Sheldon Rankins.
Had a lot of quarterbacks. In fact, y'all probably could have had 7 if y'all could have contained him.
Yeah. Like I said, I had to do better on the touchdown that I gave up. Just got to stay outside, not get too deep onto the tackle, so he can latch on and try to hold me like he did. But I let him hold me, So I mean, we can sit here and say, what if it's a hold or not. But at the same time, I got to be better in that aspect. But after that, I just feel like I just got to put my ears back, have a short memory, and keep rushing.
Jonathan, what beef?
Yeah, as like I say, and I asked him about that, and he said, in fact, they left about three or 4 sacks on the ground because Joe Burrows is, this cadre of quarterback, and in fact, he's not as stocky as Boomer Esiason. But I tell you what, Joe Burrows is. He's all that what he's made out to be. He's one of the true top quarterbacks in the league, and I know that several times I thought they had him, and he found his way got out of the scrum, and particularly on that long play to Jamar Chase on that 64-yard touchdown pass. So, but the thing about it, folks, we got a versioning. I've got our own versioning. I think that can carry this team a long way, as long as we can keep him standing up. Now, a couple of times I thought CJ held on to the ball too long, and he paid for it. And because overall, I think this offensive line, whichever group has been in there, and let's face it, the Texans are on their 3rd center as we now sit here, as I sit here now from the higher place after this game. They're on their 3rd center, but yet things keep right on clicking. And now that was a fumble today, and this was a fumble between Michael Dieter and C.J. Stroud at the end of the first quarter that they blew an opportunity and so you sort of sit there and you look at this whole thing and you go like, okay, is this going to be the break that just submit this team? Are we going? And so you ask yourself, is this team mentally tough to be able to come back from these things when they shoot themselves in the foot? D'Amico Ryans mentioned it a lot of time. He said, we can't play 2 teams. We can't play the other opponent, then play ourselves. And so when you see a situation like that, when they're in the red zone at the 9-yard line, and you had a bad exchange between Michael Dieter and CJ Stroud that was at the end of the first quarter, opportunity gone. But they were able to recover from it. And so you start to see the maturation. You starting to see this team that's okay. That's it. That it didn't hurt us. We got away from it, and we'll come back. And to a man, the respect in that locker room for C.J. Stroud and what he's able to accomplish and what he's able to do, and with the trust that they have, and particularly on the defensive side, when you're talking to these guys, and particularly when they have to come back on the field from a Texans turnover today. And I mentioned earlier, C.J. Stroud only threw his 2nd interception for this season. Only his 2nd interception, folks. And you have to marvel at his abilities and being able to his adaptability, however he's able to be adaptive and learn and grow from it. And it's shown in the last couple of weeks that 300 and some yards today, had 400 and some yards last week. So between the last couple of weeks, he's probably had over 800 and some yards worth of passing yardage to his credit for the last couple of weeks. But he just, he's humble about it. He keeps his head down, and he keeps right on working. So you tip the hat, but you tip the hat to D'Amico Ryans, and I'll say this during the presser today. a couple of questions was asked about D'Amico and what he was able to do, and he clearly stated, he said it's not about us. It's not about us. He said, yeah, we put them in places, but it's the players and they deserve the credit because they're the guys that have gone out there, have bought into what D'Amico Ryans and what the rest of this Houston Texans coaching staff is trying to get down to them. So you have to just you tip your hat, and I definitely tip my hat to these guys. These like I say, it's a fun team. You're watching a team mature and grow right in front of your eyes. Are they doing everything correct? No, but then that's the process of learning how to become, number one, becoming a pro. Number two, knowing when you make a mistake, and even though you may shoot yourself in the foot, are you able to, don't let that wear on you. That this, last play, it's over with. It's nothing you can do about it. Only thing they can do is go back and play it on instant replay, and you can go back and watch it on the film. But it's done. What's done is done. But it didn't. What they say? If it didn't kill you, it made you a better person. So, so in a real sense, that's what it has done. It has made this overall team a better team, a stronger team, and I think from a cerebral standpoint, a very smart and becoming a very hard team to beat. Because today in Payco Stadium, what I got a chance to witness today in a very hostile crowd was a team that just had a will not to lose. Not only a will not to lose, but a desire, a hunger to win and prove where we can overcome adversities. And that's with any of us and everyone in our own lives as to what happens to us. How you manage and how you answer the call when a challenge has been issued to you, and when you do your own challenge. And you're right, Tony M. I appreciate the comments in the comments section. Like you said, excellent leadership, and the leadership starts from the top. And hopefully sooner than later that we'll get to see. There's a strong possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen yet. That's a strong possibility with these next 3 weeks, these next 3 games, that this team very well can be in playoff contention. I'm not going to. It's sort of like don't like not want to talk about a no-hitter, but you know what? If you see it and you think the cause is for them, I think let's go ahead and say it. Speak it into reality. Yeah, I think this team is a strong possibility. But we'll see next week. We'll see the continuation on how this team will continue to build as the Arizona Cardinals come into town next week. And like I say, they off the road for the next 3 weeks, and they'll be at home, so to get a chance to have all kind of nice flares and all the niceties, the festive things. And that's what happened when you win, particularly when you win on the road like they've done today against the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, the final score was 30-27, 38-yard field goal with no time left on the clock. And so hats off. That's what happened when a team, starts as D'Amico Ryans say, a team that actually believes in themselves and believe in what they're doing. So I'll take my hats off to them. But anyway, folks, tell you what, I'm about ready to get up and go head to the room and pack it up and get ready to get back to H-Town. It's a little chilly up here. In fact, it's going to be about 31 degrees tonight. So this is going to come in handy. I'm not going to be out there. And of course, I don't know. They got a nice brew house down the street there. I might go try to check that out. I don't know. Maybe. But I'm just kidding. I'll walk there. I'm not going to drive there. It's not that. For fact, it's right across the road from where I'm staying at. So I might want to go over to the brew house and just check out the surroundings and watch the rest of Sunday night football. But anyway, from Cincinnati, Sheridanville at Hyatt Place, this has been your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore, reporting from the recap of your Houston Texans defeat the Cincinnati Bengals with a 30-27. And, hey, the Texans are in contention, folks. We got a contender. Let's see if they can keep this ball rolling. But it's all said and done. Oh, and as I close out, let me go ahead and just give my salute to all you veterans from yesterday being Veterans Day, including my son, Adolphus Jerome Moore, who, in fact, he's still part of Uncle Sam's United States Navy, and everybody who's worn this uniform. Again, I salute you. Thank you. Thank you for what you have done, what you're doing now, for all you guys that stood on the rampart and still stand on the rampart that allow us to be able to be the country that we are. I salute you. I thank you. And as we sign off now, peace, love, ciao. I'm out, folks. And I think I'm gonna go over here to the brew house and just see what's on TV. Okay. Anyway, I'm out. You'll be listening, talking to me next week. We'll be at home back in Houston as the Texans take on Arizona Cardinal. Peace. I'm out. I'm gone.